Let's head back down to Anita.
All right, thank you, Lynn. Grieving in the aftermath of a disaster like the San Diego wildfires is natural and expected, even if you didn't personally suffer a catastrophic loss. But many may not realize how much the recent events have impacted them. And even worse, they may not know how to cope with them. And here with some guidelines is University of Phoenix psychologist Lynn Lunceford. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, my pleasure.
Oh my gosh, I think we were talking about how I feel like I went through this today. I'm grateful. I even have some guilt issues about having a house to go to, but the disruption of our lives, of living out of a car, of being displaced, of the kids being, and the dog, and the, you know, it's just very stressful.
Right, and there are so many different things that people went through, and in addition, there are different reactions people will have. So while one person may feel sad and depressed, even not having lost their own home, another person's going to feel anxious and keyed up, kind of unable to settle in. Most of us will feel distracted and have a little bit of difficulty focusing. So there are many, many different reactions people can have to the same event.
And you need to be able to recognize it, because you may be putting it out of your mind, but you know that you kind of get into a, you know, you're depressed, but you're not really depressed, but you just can't motivate yourself to do anything, and you feel like sitting around, and you can't really explain why.
And everything seems kind of overwhelming. It's hard to really get started. So one of the keys to that is to focus on just getting one thing done, giving yourself very small tasks, focusing on that till it's finished. Where we used to be able to multitask very easily, right now that's not so easy, because we're getting distracted by things on the news, by a need that a child may have. So it's hard to finish even the simplest things. But if you focus on just that one thing, then you'll start to feel successful, that you accomplished something, and you can move on to the next thing.
Start to move on. And you have to also recognize that each person will go through different things. Like some may need to be alone, some may need to talk about it.
That's right. And that will depend upon not only what you went through, but also your general coping style. If in general you tend to cope more on your own, then you need to be able to build in some time for yourself. If you cope more by talking, find people that you can still talk to.
That you're not dragging them down.
That's right.
Because some people
have heard enough.
Right.
And they need to say, I can't listen anymore right now.
Sleep is a big issue. A lot of people aren't sleeping very well.
Right, or sleeping more. So there are signs of sleeping too much, sleeping too little, eating too much, eating too little. One of the ways we comfort people is by bringing food. So people have food all around them now, and they're stuffing themselves with food. So you have to really know what's going on for you and find an outlet for it that will be helpful. No reaction at this point is really out of the ordinary. If it lasts more than a month, that's when we start to get concerned and think perhaps you ought to seek some help where somebody can help guide you through the process.
And take you to that next transition.
Right.
Nightmares, feeling sad, apathetic, fearful. We also want to make sure we mention that children are internalizing all of this. They're going to have many different ways to show it as well, and one of the ways may surface when they go back to school.
That's right. Kids this week especially are going to have fears about their parents being safe, and so what happens when a kid feels anxiety is they somaticize. That means they feel it in their body. They have stomach aches and headaches, and the anxiety doesn't really, they can't verbalize it. They can't come to you and say, Mom, I'm feeling nervous about you being safe. Instead, they'll have this physical symptom, and then you'll start to see some school avoidance. They may not want to go to school because they want to stay around and make sure you're safe. The fires were so unexpected that leaves kids feeling unsettled about the future and knowing that their parents are safe.
And that's completely understandable. We just have to make sure we sit down and talk to our children, watch them closely, watch our loved ones, our family members, anyone who may be still trying to wrap their mind about around what just happened.
Right, and give the kids a break too, because we have had the news on. We as adults have wanted to know every detail of what's happening and make sure we're safe. So the kids are absorbing that as well, and they're absorbing our moods because they really key into that. So make sure we have other things that we can do with our kids. Make sure we can, if the air quality is good, we can go on walks with the kids, with the dogs, or bike rides. Go do activities that are unrelated to the fires to try to get back to a normal routine, but also to give them a way to connect with us so they can talk about what's going on. Kids don't just come and talk. They talk when they're involved in an activity.
That's a good point, and it's very true. Well, thank you so much. I think that's so helpful. I will definitely be paying attention this week.
Thank you.
Thank you. And if you would like any more information, you can just log on to fox6.com. Coming up next, Terry is live in Rancho Bernardo, where the Recovery Center is busy getting